Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome to my patch 9.12 mid lane SoloQ tier list. Running you through some of the stronger champions on this patch and discussing the changes that Riot implemented. So just before we get into the tier list, I think in my opinion right now, mid lane is probably the most balanced it's been for a long fucking time, man. There's always been like one or two champions on the patch that is just stupid, bro. In the past, it's been Silas. Silas saw a really nice nerf, in my opinion, in this patch. Still viable, not just completely bonkers insta-pick. Aatrox also saw a small nerf. I think Aatrox is still in that god tier, still very strong. But Aatrox is a long way from what he was on the reworked release with the ease. When was that patch? That patch was probably, it was like a month or two ago. So yeah, Aatrox has been touched down a little bit. And he's in a pretty good spot right now, but definitely punishable. Whereas in the past, he just wasn't punishable, man. Like, champion just stupid. So Arie, Malzahar, the really basic champions, they're still sitting in my god tiers. I think these two champions still do very well in this patch. They're super easy to execute. Arie's fun to play. Malzahar, not so mechanical, but also getting good results. So these two champions are probably, if you're a little bit of a newbie to the mid lane or just looking to pick up something really quickly with relative ease, these are probably your two best bets. Moving down now is the Neeko, who's moved up from A to S tier. I think Neeko is really good right now because of how flexible it is. You can go full damage, you can go Comet, you can go, in my opinion, what's the best setup is Glacial Augment, and you can also go press the attack and go for an on-hit Neeko build. Lots of flexibility that you can do with this Neeko setup. It's extremely popular right now in the high elo games. So yeah, this Neeko right now, super good, guys. I definitely recommend picking it up. Moving across to the Talon. Talon, easily the best AD assassin right now. We saw Jace got really hard nerfed. I think Jace is still playable, but we saw his win rate go from about 50 to 46% overall. So the Q nerf last patch definitely has affected him. Moving down now to the Aatrox. Aatrox still great. He saw a small nerf to his sustain early in the early game. And also he receives, only from his ultimate, he receives extra healing from himself. So for instance, if somebody else is going to be healing Aatrox, he's not getting additional healing when he's using his ultimate, which is a slight nerf, but in my opinion, this champion is still very strong, easily S tier. Lastly, in my S tiers is the Twisted Fate. Might be one of the last patches. Twisted Fate is really far up there because they're going to be changing the Roa, the Rod of the Ages, I think on next patch or the patch after, which is definitely going to be a hit to AP Twisted Fate. But of course, AD Twisted Fate with the Triforce Rush is still very popular. And it's still, in my opinion, the stronger variant of the Twisted Fate setup. But yeah, that's it for my god tiers, guys. But in my opinion, I honestly think it's so balanced that a lot of these A tiers could be interchanged, man. You could put things up like the, what do we got? We got Zoe, Cassio, even Rumble, Ori. Like, these are all super good champions. And the S tiers aren't so far ahead that these A tiers are kind of irrelevant. Absolutely not. A tiers are still very good in this patch because of how diverse the mid lane is and how balanced it is, in my opinion. So moving down to my A tiers, you can see the Pyke. I love Pyke mid, man. Pyke mid is so good at the moment. I think they're looking at nerfing Pyke mid maybe next patch. Or Pyke lane, solo lane next patch. So maybe this could be last patch to get a lot of Pyke mid spamming in. So yeah, moving across to the Ryze. Ryze got reworked. I'm not too sure what to think of it, man. I played a game earlier of Ryze and just give it a little bit of a test out. It's a much simpler Ryze, which I like. It's going to definitely mean that the lower elo players can just pick it up in a jiffy. You don't have to like have 50, 100 plus games on Ryze to really get the hang of it. It's a very simple kit right now. The AP scaling is super nice at level 11 and 16. And yeah, man, as of right now, I'm moving Ryze up to my A tiers with this little mini rework. I think the champion may be super strong this patch. So we're just going to have to wait and see and get a little bit more testing. But as of right now, I'm thinking, yeah, it might be pretty strong. Moving down now is the Rumble mid, of course. I was talking about on my last tier list video about how a lot of players are playing Rumble mid. This also goes for Camille mid. I think Camille mid is super good, guys. Camille mid, Renekton mid, what else? Fiora mid, even. Like these picks, these melee picks that rush Tiamats is extremely popular in the high elo competitive games right now. We saw Knight, we saw Chovy, we saw Showmaker. All of these really top tier mids in the world are playing Camille mid right now. We've also seen a lot of Renekton mid in the LPL, the Chinese leagues, with so much success. We saw Doonby and we saw Icon playing in the Chinese leagues, dominating with Renekton mid, guys. So these short range melee mids that definitely benefit from a lot of mobility and just smash the short range matchups. Like if you play this into something like the Silas or something like the Aatrox, you're gonna have a great time. So yeah, these picks are definitely ones to watch out for this patch, and you'll definitely see in competitive games this weekend or this week, Camille mid is gonna have so much like people are gonna be wanting to pick Camille mid. You synergize it with something like a Sedge or a Jarvan, and you just hard engage over and over and over again. You get that team mat, you can side lane. These AD mid lane picks are actually really strong at the moment. Another thing that got affected in the mid lane this patch is Corrupting Potion got nerfed, okay? The damage on Corrupting Potion is much less now. I think it might be the same early game, but it doesn't scale as well, which is going to be a complete nerf to probably 80% of mid lane AP mages. Almost all of them are going Corrupting Potion start. So I think we might see this patch finally the shift away from Corrupting Potion back onto the Doran's Ring start, okay? So this just means that a lot of champions are going to have less sustain. Things like the Orianna, even like the Echo, man, like they just benefit from having Corrupting Potion. Like pretty much any fucking mage or anybody that started with the Corrupting Potion is going to be worse off this patch. Fact. The damage is less in the mid to late. So yeah, it's going to be interesting to see if there's going to be a Doran's Ring shift. I'll be testing this patch 100% to see what's better. Hoping for the Doran's Ring. I love Doran's Ring start. Versing somebody with the Corrupting Potion is just frustrating, man. They have too much sustain. So yeah, I'm excited for that change. Moving across now to my B tiers. What champions are we seeing there? We're seeing the Renekton, of course. As I talked about earlier, I think Renekton is really good mid lane, especially into things like the Yasuo, Aatrox, Fizz. It's pretty much good into any short range mage or short range melee. The thing is with Renekton mid, you don't really want to be picking it into control mages, so you gotta be careful, man. If you pick Renekton mid into like an Orianna, a Ryze, something like that, even a Nico, you're gonna have a really hard time getting onto them. They're gonna CC you up, and you're not gonna be able to complete your combo. You're just gonna get bursted. So just be careful when you're playing these things like the Renekton mid. Also, you're gonna be seeing Silas in my B tiers. Silas saw a pretty huge nerf, man, to his wave clear. His passive does 70% reduced damage on minions now. 70%. That is a fuck ton, man. That's almost 100% minus 30%. It's quite a lot. So I think that Silas is definitely going to be getting nerfed in the mid lane. Mid lane, having wave clear and having priority is probably the most important in this meta right now. So he's taking a hit there. Also, his E now doesn't give an insta shield. You have to land your E now to get the shield. Also a nerf to dodging poke. So I think Silas is worse off this patch, but still, the champion is playable. He has mobility, he has damage, he can steal everybody's ultimate. The champion is not going away yet, but I think it's definitely taken a big hit from the previous patches. I think two of the best mages in my B tiers, or even overall, Vel'Koz and Veigar. I think these two champions are pretty, I guess, getting slept on pretty hard. I think they're both super strong in the right scenarios, especially Vel'Koz, man. I swear Vel'Koz is actually broken. As long as you don't pick it into something with like full mobility like Fizz, this champion is so hard to deal with. It deals absurd amounts of damage. But yeah, I think that Vel'Koz is actually really good. Same with the Veigar. Xerath also decent, but just not, in my opinion, it's just not quite as good as the Veigar or the Vel'Koz. Moving down lastly to my C tiers, my not optimal tiers. We're seeing Irelia finally going down to the C tier. She got nerfed again this patch, finally. Akali sitting down there, Azir sitting down there. I think Azir is actually pretty strong. More in a controlled setting in competitive games. I think I've talked about this in the past. In SoloQ, it's so unreliable that you're going to have access to blue buff or access to a strong jungler. If you get behind on Azir, you can't move into the river, and you're just going to get completely obliterated, not get into those 2-3 item spikes that you need, and it's going to make it really difficult to close out and to win games. What other picks are we seeing there? Karthus mid. Fuck, it just got fucking nerfed, man. Like, don't play Karthus mid. To be honest, just don't play it. What else do we have? We have the Gallios. Small buff, didn't really do anything. Swain could be broken next patch on the Rod of the Ages changes. The Rod of the Ages changes, just quickly talking about it. It's kind of like, it's going to give you more AP as the longer you're in combat, I believe. So I think it's going to be giving you like 40 more ability power for 10 stacks. I forget how you stack it, whether it's in time or spell based. But I think that Swain, as long as maybe Cassiopeia as well, and Anivia with the Roa changes into a Leandries, if you stack those two, you'll be dishing out so much fucking damage, guys. So just be aware, next patch, probably going to be a big shift in the mid lane meta around this Roa, which I always love when they change the mid lane items, because it just, small changes to champions is cool, but big changes to items can just shift completely different metas, which is what I love. So that's about it for my mid lane SoloQ tier list, guys. So yeah, this patch in my opinion is the most balanced for mid lane. You can bring anything you want to the mid lane right now. You're probably not going to have problems. As always, if you're looking to pick up a champion in the C tiers or the B tiers and you enjoy it, you can climb with it, guys. You can play Dino mid and climb to Challenger, no problem. Well, maybe slight problem, but definitely doable. Just play with passion, don't give up, don't FF, keep grinding, and good luck on this patch.